Joining us on the set is our French politics editor, Marc Perelman. Hello to you, Marc. A big day, needless to say, for Emmanuel Macron and the opposition. What are we expecting?
We're expecting by 3:20 p.m., this is 24 hours after the 49th was formally launched by the Prime Minister, we're waiting to see motions of no confidence. We're expecting two of them, one by the far-right National Rally and one by a small group in Parliament with diverse membership, but they've decided to try to gather the support of MPs from across the aisle. And this motion of defiance has the most chances because many other parties have said they will never vote in favor of a motion of defiance tabled by the National Rally. So the other option is already endorsed by the far left France Unbound. They've said they would support the motion of defiance tabled by this small group. And so this is really the motion of defiance to watch. The vote will formally take place on Monday, so you can assume this will be a very, very busy weekend, as we just saw in the report. It's unlikely that this will reach a majority. The majority is normally 289, but given the abstentions, it could be a bit lower. But clearly, the government is worried. They didn't want this to happen. They thought they had the votes to push through this bill. At the end, they saw that they only had a handful of votes. This was too risky, so they chose the nuclear option, the 49-3. So they're hoping that they will not miscalculate one more time, because if it happens, the government falls and Emmanuel Macron will be forced to appoint a new prime minister or, as he's hinted, call for snap elections. This would be really uncharted territory.
Yeah, and we know Emmanuel Macron throughout this had been seeking a signature piece of legislation, these pension reforms. Clearly a gamble. Did he lose?
Well, it was a signature failure. And clearly, I mean, this is his failure because pushing this reform now, especially, was his choice. I mean, he promised during the campaign that, yes, he would like to reform the pension system. He tried during his first mandate. He failed. Eventually, yes. But many people, even people who were close to him and support him, saying, why now? There's the war in Ukraine, inflation fears. Why push this through now, especially if you don't have the votes? And they miscalculated because they thought they had the support of the Conservative Party. They needed those 60 MPs, but they were not able, despite making concession after concession after concession to this group. The Conservatives are very much in disarray, so there's no discipline. When the party leader says, we have to support the government, many MPs have said, you know what, I'll do whatever I want. And so this was clearly a strategic failure, a tactical failure, and Emmanuel Macron, who already cannot be reelected, so many people are saying he's already a lame duck. Clearly, if you're forced to push through this reform this way, which he didn't want, it's really a bad omen for the rest of his mandate. And let's not forget that we saw strikes and demonstrations. We saw the unions very united. Now we're seeing people very angry. We've seen some violence in Paris. The yellow vest is clearly in Emmanuel Macron's head. So the next few days, both in Parliament and in the streets, will be very, very carefully watched at the Élysée Palace. Emmanuel Macron is as lonely as he's been since he was first elected.
All right, Marc, thank you very much. Marc Perelman, France 24's French politics editor.